is the stairway into the Ocean Pearl Inn 3. It's a little bit noisy right now because the electricity is out again. There's a blackout in Yangon. Started at 10 o'clock this morning, and I think it's going to go on for most of the day. So you can hear generators powering up down on the street. So here's the entrance. And as I said before, it's a bit of a low-budget guest house, very basic. It's got an old wooden stairway going up and down. And they share the entrance. It's another busy and very hot day here in Yangon. You can hear all the generators roaring around me because there's another citywide blackout underway, which is bad news for me because my budget guest house doesn't have its own generator. So when the power goes out, there's no power at all. So all you can do in the guest house is sit in the room and you're dark and sweat. So I've come out into Yangon and I'm looking for a coffee shop that has a generator, and I'm going to sit inside hopefully and enjoy a cup of coffee and some air conditioning if I can find it. And a technical note, I'm using my Boya BY-M1 lavalier microphone with the GoPro for the very first time outside. I attached it with my brand new GoPro audio adapter, which I bought yesterday. And that was kind of a funny experience because I looked everywhere for that audio adapter in Kuala Lumpur. I couldn't find it. I went to about 20 stores in Bangkok also looking for this audio adapter. I couldn't find it. I finally found it online in Bangkok, and a company there could ship it to my guest house. But by the time I contacted them, they only had one left, and then it was sold out. Customer snatched it just before I could get it. So in all of Malaysia, you couldn't get this audio adapter. All of Thailand, you couldn't find it. And then I came here to Yangon, and there was a store here that sold GoPro products. I went there yesterday, and they had like 5 of them. So I picked one up, and interestingly enough, it was cheaper here in Yangon than it was anywhere else. So that ended up being a pretty good deal. I'm getting all set up for my cup of coffee. Got a local paper, which is one of my travel tips from a couple of months ago, is to always buy at least one local paper one day and flip through it and see what's going on. It's quite interesting to do that because as a tourist, you're kind of skipping around on the surface of things a lot. And it's amazing that when you buy a local paper in English and just read through it, you find a whole new depth to the country. You learn all kinds of interesting things. You think about it in a new way. There are a lot of fancy restaurants in this neighborhood. You can get sushi, good Indian food, all that kind of thing in a sit-down restaurant. And I thought there was a nice coffee shop over here, but I haven't been able to find it. I think I saw it maybe on a different street, but I did pass kind of a donut shop up ahead on the corner. So I think I'm going to pop in there, grab a cup of coffee. And here's like one of the restaurants I was talking about, the Northlander. Looks like they have some really nice food there if you want to sit inside in comfort. Yeah, I have no idea what this building is. Very large government-looking building being renovated over there. And there's my destination, J Donuts, coffee and donuts. Every day, fresh and tasty. So let's go inside and see if I can get a cup of coffee and see if it's air conditioned. That's almost more important. Hello. Could I have a hot coffee?
With milk.
With milk? Yes. For here? Yeah. Thank you. I don't know what it is, but the heat here really gets to me. I'm inside an air-conditioned donut shop and just ordering donuts and a cup of coffee. I'm like sweating to death. It's crazy hot. And of course I had to order hot coffee. Makes me even hotter. So here it is here, hot coffee with milk. Got 2 glazed donuts. And I've got my newspaper all ready to settle in. To my surprise, the donut shop made a really good cup of coffee. I don't go out for coffee as much as I used to, so I haven't been to a lot of coffee shops lately, but that was probably the best cup of coffee I've had in months. I can't remember having such a good cup. And reading the paper was a really interesting experience, as I thought it would be. There's a big article about all the blackouts continuing in Myanmar, and that's mainly due to the heat wave driving up demand for electricity, and there just isn't enough electricity to go around. But they're talking about the monsoon coming in about a week, and when the monsoon season hits, temperatures will go down, and there should be more electricity available for air conditioning, which will be nice. But of course, the monsoon season could bring all kinds of more challenges, flooded roads and that kind of thing. There was another article about stray dogs in Myanmar, and in Yangon in particular. There seems to be a really large population of stray dogs, and one hospital alone gets about 20 to 25 people a day admitted to be treated for dog bites. And if I remember right from the article, quite a few people in Myanmar die of rabies every year. So rabies is a big problem here, which surprises me. I mean, I would be surprised if there was 1 rabies death a year in Canada. I think it would make national news if anyone did die of rabies in Canada. But here it appears to be very common. There were also a large number of articles about philanthropic groups in Myanmar. I've noticed that quite a bit, that there is a really deep concern in the country for caring for the poor, especially those who are poor but are working to support themselves. So there are all kinds of articles about different organizations raising money for different causes and things like that. Yeah, almost every time I turned the page, there was another article along those lines. So that was quite interesting. I was also pleasantly surprised at the high quality of the English in that paper. It was all a English language newspaper, and all of the articles were very well written and in a very natural English. So yeah, I was impressed with that as well. This is a quick audio test of the GoPro with and without the external microphone. So this is using the GoPro's own microphones. It's got 3 of them, 2 stereo mics, and then a wind canceling microphone. I think I have it set to just the stereo mics alone, cutting out the wind microphone completely. Now I have the microphone plugged in using the GoPro adapter, which I bought for the princely sum of $50 on the same Yangon side street, which with kind of the same noise level. I'm heading back to my hostel, hoping that the electricity is on and the fan is running, if not the air conditioner. And I'm looking for the grab-and-go convenience store where I can buy some water for a cup of coffee. I have to say that I've also been pleasantly surprised by the range of products available in Yangon. Like I said, I bought my GoPro adapter here, something that I couldn't find anywhere in Malaysia or in all of Thailand. And the street here is just wall-to-wall computer stores. I couldn't get a battery for my Dell laptop, but that's because it's quite an old one and not that common anymore. But while I was out looking for a cup of coffee, I found a camera store, and they had every model camera you could think of. High-end microphone systems, wireless systems, all kinds of microphones and cameras and attachments and GoPro accessories that I couldn't find even when I went into shops in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur and in Bangkok. So it's actually a very good place to go shopping. And the prices seem to be cheaper than in those countries. So it's kind of a paradise for an electronics junkie like me. A quick look at the newspaper that I was reading while I was enjoying my cup of coffee at the donut shop. This is the Myanmar Times, the heartbeat of the nation. It's a daily English language paper, and it cost 1,000 chats for me. I really enjoyed reading the paper. You can see the front cover is actually a photo feature of some young boys playing on a new playground that was built in a side street here in Yangon, I believe. So it's just interesting that a big paper like this would actually have a photo feature taking up most of its front cover. And as I mentioned, there was an article about how the annual monsoon season was expected to reach the south in just a few days. And this article talks about how April and May of this year set records for the incredible heat in Myanmar. And it talks about how many people died in the country from a heat stroke over this period. It's been a very hot year, as I can attest. A big issue in Myanmar, of course, is the number of workers that are overseas. And this article is about 100 undocumented Myanmar workers that were recently arrested in Thailand. They were found in the border town of Mae Sot, or Mai Sot, maybe it's Mai Sot, which is just across the border, not too far away from Yangon, actually. This article is the one about all the stray dogs in Yangon. Insane General Hospital treats 20 dog bites a day. In the first 4 months of this year, 1,627 people were bitten by dogs and treated at just this one hospital. 5,000 last year total. Across the country, 191,000 people bitten by dogs last year, and mostly in Yangon, and 70 of those people died from rabies, which I find quite amazing. As I said before, I would be surprised if one person a year died of rabies in Canada. Maybe there are rabies deaths in Canada, but I think even one would be like nationwide news. But here they have 70 per year, so it's really something to think about. I'm vaccinated for rabies, so I should be okay, but most people here would not be. Another photo feature of a girl recycling. What do we have on the next page? A lot of articles about China and economic, business, and political relationship between China and Myanmar. More articles about business partnerships with China In particular, the Belt and Road Initiative that China is running all around the world. And since this is the Friday edition, they have the weekend feature, which has a lot of social and cultural and artistic articles. Another photo feature. I found this article quite interesting. It's all about these illegal buses that run up and down the main streets in Yangon. They're competing with the government-operated YBS buses, and they need these because the main buses don't operate full hours, so a lot of people have no way to get home or to work early in the morning or late at night. So these illegal private trucks run up and down the street collecting passengers, and a number of them are run by husband and wife teams, and the women are called dangling women because they hold on tight with one hand as this truck races up and down, winding in and out of traffic, and they have to hold on tight with one hand, collect money with the other, and they're shouting, for passengers as they race up and down the streets. I mentioned there is a lot of philanthropy in Myanmar, and this newspaper has several articles featuring that, and this article is about a garage sale that raises money for a lot of charity groups. This group is collecting historical documents and archiving them. And another organization that raises money for poor people, and they're featuring this man here who's a recycler, and he was given enough money to buy his own scale for weighing recycling and expand his business, I guess. A lot of articles about artists, restaurants you can check out. And this was amazing. Tug of war for rain. And I guess there's a tradition or a custom in Myanmar that if you have a tug of war competition, it will bring forth the rainy season and the rain clouds. So a lot of schools and organizations will organize tug of war competitions during the dry season as it gets too hot and too dry, and they're trying to get some rain for the country. So I'm in full support of that. And an article about some foreigners who went trekking in a tea growing region of Myanmar. I don't know if I'll be getting up there. It's just too hot to go anywhere, I think. And classified ads, horoscope, comics, crossword puzzle, and the last part of the paper is all about business, regional Asian news, world politics, and on the sports, of course. And apparently this weekend, May 18th and 19th, there is the Southeast Asian Bodybuilding and Physique Championship taking place in Yangon, and these are all some of the local competitors in this competition. It doesn't say where it's taking place, though. If I find out where, maybe I can go check it out. That would be kind of fun. And there you have it, the Myanmar Times, the heartbeat of the nation.